Good morning friends. Today we are going to learn about NXT 2.1 programming. Now what is this NXT 2.1 programming? Basically, it is a programming language which programs the Lego NXT robot. An NXT robot is like this robot. It has got an NXT, motors, wires and sensors. Now we must learn the software aspect of the NXT. This is the NXT 2.1 programming window where we create and also open recent programs. We start with a new program. Here is the interface where we work on our program. These are the menus like open, save, cut, etc. This is the palette. There are three types of palette, like this is the common, complete and custom palette. Robot Educator helps you with making of different types of software. Now let us learn the basics of the NXT programming language. We program the NXT with the help of sequence of blocks like this. We place a block and then another block to create a logic. Now we must learn the block one by one. This is the move block. It is used to move the motors from one to move the motors from one place to another. This is the place where we customize our move block. This is the port. This is the direction and steering. Also power, duration and brake is also available. Motor block is certainly used to move the robot the rotation wise from one place to another. Now we learn about the record and play block. This block is used to record someone's voice or narrate someone's voice. It is not as important as other blocks, so we won't get in detail about this. This is the sound block. Sound block is used to play certain sound files like this.
Good. Goodbye. Good morning. Green.
So these are the voice that the robot executes in a program. This is also not an important block, so we won't get in details of this. This is the display block. Display block is used to display certain image, text, drawing, etc. We can write any text to display on the screen of the mindstorms NXT. We won't get this in detail. The next block is the wait block. Wait block is an important block in the programming part. Wait block is certainly the Now we go to the wait block. Wait block is certainly the block that makes the robot wait for certain conditions. Like we have four conditions: the time, touch, light and sound and ultrasonic. So these are the conditions we use to wait a robot. Like we talk about a distance. This block means that the robot should wait until certain distance is there. These like this, they are all five conditions. In time, robot has to wait for certain time. In light, robot has to wait until certain light conditions are fulfilled. Touch, robot has to wait until somebody touches it. Okay, now we'll go to the loop block. Well, many of you have seen the loop condition, but in NXT the loop condition is different. Basically, loop condition means to run a certain program forever, but in NXT there are four different methods of or modes of a loop, like forever. It is used to run a block forever. Sensor. It is used to run a block until a sensor catches some intensity time. It is used to run the robot for a certain time. Count. It is used to run the robot when a program counts according to the user. And logic. It is used to run the robot till certain logic is fulfilled. The logic also, we have to make the logic externally. Now, the loop block basically helps in running a program more than one time or forever, so that we don't have to write the program same one by one. Okay, now we come to the switch block. Switch block is the most important part of the common parallel. Switch block is the decision maker that decides between right or wrong in the layman's language, but in NXT it is the sensor. It is a block that uses sensor to differentiate between the right condition and the wrong condition. Switch block is used in many programs like line follower and distance calculator. So we will learn this program afterwards, but now we will go to the complete palette. That is the palette we used for the competitions. So this is the complete palette where we have got the common palette, action, motor, sound, display, sensors, all these sensors, flow, data and advanced. So common palette we have discussed, but about the action block. This is the motor block. Well, I know you would say that we have done the motor block, but that was the motor block, move block, and this is the motor block. Both are different from others. The move block is used to move a robot, but the motor block is used to customize a motor so that it does many of the and fulfill many of the conditions. Motor move block is used to move a robot. Now we'll go to the next action, sound. We have discussed it earlier. Display, send message. This is the new block. Well, this is a Bluetooth block which sends a message to the user's computer or another NXT. We can send the message in type of text, number and a logic. This we don't use it often. Now we talk about color lamp. Color lamp is the part which like emits certain light. So this is also not an important part. Last we go to the lamp. Lamp is again the color lamp, but it displays only one color. It is also not as important. Touch sensor. Many of you would not have seen touch sensor, but it is like this. The sensor is like this. Here is a touch sensor present. Touch sensor works on the condition that if you touch. The sound sensor. Sound sensor is like a mic that listens to what we say. It is like a microphone. The sound sensor also detects from intensity of the sound. So it is also used to transmit data of sound data from one NXT to the other. Light sensor. Light sensor is different from sensor. It is the sensor that sees the conditions and variations of light. So light sensor basically works when it emits a light, and there are two color bulbs in light sensor. One reflects the light and other receives the light. The intensity measures of reflected light is how that light sensor is able to tell whether the surface is dark or light. Ultrasonic sensor. This sensor helps robot to see the object, but it is not like our eye that sees. It sends ultrasonic waves to detect like bats. Ultrasonic sensor works on the formula distance is equal to speed into time by 2. We know the formula, but notice why it is divided by 2. That is because the sound waves travel to point A to point B, come back also. So we don't need the time for coming back. That is why we divide speed into time by 2. Next, the NXT button. Well, it is not a like of sensor, but the NXT buttons are present on NXT, and it proceeds certain program when the button is clicked. Next is the rotation sensor. When you need to understand the rotation sensor, you also need to understand what type of motor NXT has. Well, it is a servo motor. Servo motors are the motors which tell the main control unit that how much a motor has been rotated. So it is like a teacher who tells on the PTM to the parents how much the child is working. Rotation sensor is a sensor which receives that information from the motor and then acts what it has to do until the certain limit of rotation or degrees is fulfilled. Next is the timer, which is the sensor block that is basically upon the time. The receive message block we have already discussed. This is the emitter out and emitter in. This is the main block called the color sensor. Well, color sensor is the block which can detect the colors of an object like our eyes. We will see how a color sensor looks or how it is. This is the color sensor block. Color sensor is the sensor which has the potential to sense the color. These are all on the site of NXT 2.1. You can have the help from them. Okay, now we are going to back. Flow we have already discussed. Data block. These are the logic, math, compare, range, random, variable and constant blocks. And the advanced, which convert number to text block, keep alive. File access, calibrate, reset motors, start dialog, stop dialog and Bluetooth connection. Now we go to the last palette called the complete palette. These are the palette which held our block. Well, you want to know what is a block. Well, it is the block like I create a block. Now my block is created. It will be saved here. I can always access my block. A block is used to compress a large amount of file. Now this is the whole tutorial of the NXT. I hope you will like this. Please subscribe my channel. Thank you.